And what you're reminding me of, or it's taking me back to, is, into the martial arts world, and why does something like the martial arts enable focus? Because it's one of the
Mm,
things that we absolutely saw in teaching children in particular. It's really common to get feedback from parents or school teachers, even, that, the children who were doing the martial arts, their capacity to focus was just on a whole other level. And
yeah.
stories of kids, who really struggled with focus, just getting so much stronger in that space. So
Yes.
when I think about some of the training that we were doing, one activity that immediately comes back to my mind is I would be sparring with an opponent, but then I'd also have two other people whose job it was to distract me. So they'd be
Nice.
pushing me over, or pulling on my belt, or pulling on my gi, or my uniform.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the exercise was to maintain my focus on the person that I was
Mm,
fighting, and
yeah.
to practice actually cutting out the noise,
Yeah.
actually being
Nice.
able to exclude that other stuff. And so hearing
Yeah.
you talk about that, I can imagine that what that was about was prioritizing what stimulus or data I was actually processing in
Yeah,
that
well,
moment.
there's in essence there's sort of four main dimensions that we step through, and in terms of a journey of mastering focus, and what you're really talking about there is the inner dimension. So, in the external dimension, when we're optimizing the environment, I mean, you can create the perfect environment for focus, but what the science is showing us is that even if we've created this perfect environment, an external environment, internally we're still going to distract ourselves more than anybody else could possibly
Yeah,
distract us.
yeah,
And that's what I really love about the martial arts analogy is as we journey inwards to our inner focus and understanding how to control that wandering mind that's drifting all over the place, to really strengthen our attention span, to understand how our energy, or our mental energy, or our sort of attention cycles throughout the day, and then tapping into that to make it easier to get things done, or less stress, or less overwhelm. As we move into that inner dimension, that's where you start to see a lot of the sort of filtration through to things like well-being as well, and other areas
yeah,
of life that's less sort of productivity focused, but more widespread across the
yeah,
organization. So
yeah,
that inner dimension is really I'm extremely passionate about, because often when you go and perform, so I give you an example, you go and when I was doing some competitions in acrobatics, you know the maneuvers inside and out, but then when you go to do it in front of an audience, you know how to do the tricks, you can do them, but part of your mind is now focused on the audience and not the
that's right.
trick.
Yeah,
And so the trick all of a sudden isn't performed as cleanly or as effectively as you could, or sometimes you can't even do the trick because
yeah,
you don't have your full focus. And that inner dimension for me is sort of really fundamental to
yeah.
mastering focus.